It's 5:47 in the morning and Jonathan Jamal Porter, the one you know as Blueface, just spent what looks like the last 2 hours running a demolition on his own timeline. Tweets up, tweets gone, tweets screenshotted before the gone. Somebody was awake. Somebody always is. $100,000. That's the number he threw on the table. Zelle, Apple Pay, Venmo, PayPal, however you got it. Read that back. Read it back slow. A man asking to be paid, in public, in 4 different payment apps, at an hour when most people are asleep. Over a woman he keeps telling everyone he doesn't care about. Somebody in his circle needs to sim down. And before we get into the paper on this one, go on and tap the like, get subscribed if you're new to the room, and flip the bell so the next receipt drop doesn't sit in your feed for 6 hours before you see it. Ride with us on this. There's a piece toward the end of this one that connects to a foreclosure filing from earlier this year that nobody's really put next to the Meltdown yet. We'll get there. Here's the surface, clean and dry. Overnight into July 6th, 2026, Blueface, legally Jonathan Porter, once signed to Cash Money West through a Republic Records imprint, went on a tear across his ex account regarding his ex Jaidyn Alexis and her current relationship with the Compton rapper Kaii Bandz. He posted a demand for $100,000 in exchange for what he described as unreleased footage. He deleted most of it inside an hour. Kaii Bandz's manager responded on video. Kaii responded on video. Jaidyn responded in text. Then Blueface came back and posted more. Then deleted more. That's the who, what, when. Now, let's actually read what was on the paper. The first tweet, and this is one of the ones he wiped, read, "Why would I do more if she going to settle for less?" Sit with that construction for a second. It's not a threat and it's not a joke. It's a man complaining that the person who left him didn't leave him for someone impressive enough to justify his response. That's the emotional thesis of the entire night, and he wrote it down himself before he pulled it. The next one, still archived. Send me my 100K Zelle, Apple Pay, Venmo, PayPal, however you got it. I don't care about no female entanglement. A rat is a rat. Attached to that post was a link to a YouTube upload that has since been made private. 2 things happened at once there, the price and the delivery method. And, hold on, let me actually reread that. Send me my 100K. My 100K. Not give me, not pay me, my. Like the money's already his, and it's just sitting in somebody else's account by mistake. That's a word choice. That's not an accident. Kaii Bandz's manager caught the smoke first and answered on camera, per clip that circulated on X and Instagram Reels overnight. His words, pulled straight from the video, this whole Blueface thing, we got 100,000. If he can show us right now of a Kaii song, we got 100. It should be a video out. It should be some real paperwork, not no AI. We not going for that. Then later in the same clip, you supposed to be poor. You Blueface. Feel me? We independent. No labels behind us. No help. Nothing. X, formerly Twitter, preserved the reposts. Hot New Hip Hop has the timeline of the deletions. Jaidyn Alexis's response was 6 words. Oh, I get it. He gotta get out that foreclosure. That's a tier 1 reference, because there's actual paper behind it. We'll get back to that in a minute, because that's the piece the timeline missed. Kaii Bandz himself on live stream at some point in the last 12 hours. Why would I care about that? That's childish. If you ask her how many she got, that's childish. You ask what she did before you? That's dry. We not worried about that though. Then the line the comments have been running with all night, I'm not tender. I'm not tender, chat. I barely even eat chicken tenders. I don't even eat those. I rather get a chicken sandwich. Complex covered the response cycle. XXL picked up the Jaidyn foreclosure reference. That's the raw exhibit table. No connective tissue yet. Just what was said, who said it, and when. Now, watch the sequencing, because this is where the story is actually living. The order matters. It always matters. Kaii and Jaidyn's relationship became public around late spring of this year. The Shade Room had the first sighting posts circulating in May. Blueface has been out of federal custody for a matter of months, following his release earlier in 2026 after his 2024 attempted murder plea deal ran its course, per AP News coverage of the original case. In that window between his release and July, Jaidyn's public presence has expanded. She's been performing, she's been posting, she's been visible next to Kaii on multiple platforms. Blueface, per his own ex-posts across the spring, has been quieter. Fewer streams, fewer public appearances, fewer numbers moving. And then, right around the moment Kaii and Jaidyn hit their second public wave, the reposted entanglement content from that Vincent-labeled account that got taken down and reinstated on appeal, Blueface's account lights up at 3 a.m. with a 6-figure ransom demand. That's not a coincidence. That's a calendar. Look at the deletion pattern, too. He didn't delete the Meltdown as a whole. He deleted selectively. The $100,000 demand went first. The female entanglement line went second. What stayed up, at least longer, was the softer stuff. I am the truth. If I said it, it happened. The theatrical stuff stays. The stuff that reads like an offer to sell something private, that goes. That's not a man clearing his timeline. That's a man triaging his liability. And Jaidyn's clapback, the foreclosure line, that's not a random insult. Public county records in Los Angeles have shown a residential property associated with Porter in default proceedings earlier this year. TMZ reported on the property complications back in the spring. She wasn't reaching. She was pointing at paper. Okay, let me back up on one thing, because I want to be fair here. There's a reading of this whole night that says Blueface is just being Blueface, that this is the same online energy he's been running since 2019, that none of this is new, and that trying to build a pattern out of one bad night is a stretch. That read isn't stupid. He's had public flare-ups before that didn't connect to anything deeper. I hear it. I'm still going to lean the other way, and I'll show you why in a minute. Zoom in, one frame at a time. Read the demand again. Send me my $100K, Zelle, Apple Pay, Venmo, PayPal, however you got it. For payment platforms. Not one. Not Wire It. Not Cash App Me. 4. That's a man who's thought about how the money would arrive. That's not off the cuff. That's a sentence that got composed. It got typed out with intent, and then it got deleted with the same intent. Now read the manager's line, the specific words. Show us right now of a Kaii song. We got 100. It should be a video out. It should be some real paperwork, not no AI. Not no AI. That's the tell inside the response. The manager isn't just calling the bluff on the video's existence. He's preloading the counter for what he expects the video to actually be. He's saying, we already know what you're about to release, and we already know it's not clean. That's not a reaction. That's a pre-buttal. And Kai's chicken tender line, the one everybody's laughing at, read the rhythm of it. I'm not tender. I'm not tender, chat. I barely even eat chicken tenders. I don't even eat those. I rather get a chicken sandwich. 5 sentences to bury one insult. He's not rattled. He's playing to the stream. That's a man who knows the clip is going to travel and who wants his version of the moment to be the one that travels the furthest. Somebody in the comments has to have the original stream timestamp on this, because the way it's cut into reposts, you can't tell if the tender bit came before or after the manager's response, and that ordering actually matters for who is reacting to who. One more magnifier. The Vincent account, the one that posted the alleged round 2 entanglement content, got suspended and then got reinstated on appeal. That reinstatement is significant. X doesn't reverse a suspension on a whim. Appeals for accounts that post intimate content without consent generally don't get reversed unless the account can demonstrate the content doesn't violate policy, per X's own help center policies. Either the account successfully argued the content wasn't what it appeared to be, or the appeal system worked in a way that a lot of victims of similar posts would find deeply frustrating. Neither read makes anyone in this story look better. Now the framing war. Because different corners of the internet are running this in different directions, and the choices they're making are loud. The gossip blog Frame, the Shade Room, Hollywood Unlocked, is running it as Blueface Meltdown, girlfriend moved on, drama continues. Passive verbs. Emphasis on the spectacle. Zero mention of the foreclosure. Zero mention of the deletion pattern. Zero mention of the managers not no AI pre-buttal. They're covering the smoke and skipping the fire. The fan camp frame on X is split 3 ways. Kai's supporters are running the chicken tender line as a knockout. Blueface supporters, and there are still some, believe it or not, are running she was his first, she came back before, she'll come back again, narrative that ignores every visible piece of Jaidyn's actual public behavior for the last 4 months. And Jaidyn's supporters are running the foreclosure clapback as the whole story, which, real talk, flattens what's actually happening here. The steelman for the Blueface camp goes like this. He's a public figure whose ex is now dating another public figure. He's within his rights to be upset. The $100,000 post was a joke, the video reference was hyperbole, and the deletion was just him thinking better of it. Take that read at face value for 1 second. Because the counter isn't insulting, it's just paper. If the $100,000 was a joke, why the 4 payment platforms? Jokes don't get logistically detailed. If the video was hyperbole, why did the manager pre-buttal it with not no AI? You don't pre-buttal a bluff. And if the deletion was just him thinking better of it, why did he selectively delete? Why did the theatrical stuff stay and the transactional stuff disappear? The paper doesn't line up with the it was just a joke frame. That's not opinion. That's the sequencing. All right, gears shift here. Because now we have to talk about the part of this that everybody's dancing around. The mainstream read on tonight is going to be rapper has bad night on Twitter. It'll trend, it'll get the meme treatment, and it'll fade by Friday. Here's where I land, and I'm not softening it. What happened tonight isn't a meltdown. It's a business decision that failed. Follow the money and the calendar. Porter came out of custody earlier this year into a very different music economy than the one he left. His last major charting moment as a lead artist is years behind him at this point. Jaidyn Alexis, who he pushed for years as an artist under his own management, is now positioned next to a rapper whose independent numbers, according to Kai's manager on that response video, don't require label backing. Meanwhile, Porter has publicly complicated real estate. That's not gossip. That's county records. And the property situation isn't the small thing. A foreclosure timeline is a countdown clock with a very specific ending. Now, watch what tonight actually was. A public offer to release content for a fee that would generate attention, generate a news cycle, generate streams to his back catalog, and generate a wedge in a relationship that represents the loss of a partner he built a brand around. That's not a meltdown. That's a monetization attempt. It didn't work. Kai's camp called the bluff. The manager pre-buttled the AI angle. Jaidyn punched back with the foreclosure line, and Porter had to delete because the offer wasn't landing. But make no mistake about what it was trying to be. And this is the part that's uncomfortable, because it's the part where you have to hold 2 things at once. Porter is a person. Whatever the strategic layer of tonight was, there's a real human somewhere in there who is watching a woman he has a child with build a life with someone else in public at a moment when his own public life is contracting. Both things can be true. It can be a business decision and it can hurt. I'm not going to sit here and pretend the emotional part isn't real. But when you look at the tweet composition, the 4 payment platforms, the specific dollar figure, the deleted not deleted pattern, this wasn't a man losing control. This was a man attempting a play and losing the play. The jab writes itself. He asked for 100,000 and got 100,000 quote tweets instead. The second jab, the manager who's supposed to be the little one, the independent one with no label behind us, ran a cleaner PR response in 15 seconds than most publicists run in 15 days. The third one, and this one's dry, the guy whose whole brand is I say what I mean deleted 7 tweets before sunrise. Fourth, Kai didn't need a manager for the chicken tender line. Kai handled Kai. The manager handled the money question. That's a division of labor that a lot of established artists don't even have. Fifth, and this one I'm going to sit softer on, Jaidyn's 6-word reply did more damage than the entire response video did. 6 words. Because they were specific. Because they were about paper. And because they closed a loop the audience already knew about. Here's where the closer lives. Foreclosure paperwork doesn't care about $100,000 tweets. It just keeps counting. Now, where this goes. By the time the sun's fully up on the West Coast, expect the deleted tweets to become the story in a way the original tweets weren't. Screenshots are already circulating. The blogs that missed the overnight window will catch up mid-morning and will run the deletion pattern as the hook, because the deletion is more damaging than the original posts were. Porter's team, if there's a team, will likely push a his account was compromised narrative or a he was joking clarification within the next 24 to 48 hours. Neither will land clean, because the for-payment platform detail is too specific to be a hack and too composed to be a joke. Kaii's camp is positioned to gain streams from this. That's the mechanics of it. A viral response video, a manager who pre-buttled the counter, and a rapper who handled the personal shot himself, all in one news cycle. That's the kind of week that moves numbers on the platforms. Watch Kaii's Spotify monthly listeners over the next 14 days. Don't be surprised if they climb noticeably. And Jaidyn's foreclosure line is going to get quoted for weeks. That's a bar. It's going to end up on shirts before the month is out. Then the wild card. There's a version of the next 72 hours where the Vincent account posts something new. The reinstatement on appeal wasn't for nothing. Somebody wanted that account back up for a reason, and the timing of the reinstatement lining up with Porter's meltdown isn't a shape you can just ignore. If new content drops from that account, the story pivots from rapper meltdown to something much more serious, and the legal frame becomes the frame. Watch that account. And if you know anything about who's actually running it, because a lot of you have been sending theories, the comment section is open on this one. The other wild card, Porter files something, a cease and desist, a defamation suit, a response that lives in a court filing instead of an ex post. If that happens, it validates the theory that tonight wasn't a meltdown at all, it was the opening move of a longer play. Once the dust settles on the meme cycle, the paper cycle starts, and the paper cycle is where Porter's actual leverage lives, if he has any left. The residue on this one runs longer than the news cycle. The public co-parenting dynamic between Porter and Jaidyn was already complicated. It just got a permanent asterisk. Every future interaction, every custody discussion, every joint appearance, every shared child moment posted publicly now runs through the memory of a night where one parent tried to monetize the other's new relationship for 6 figures on a Sunday morning. That doesn't wash off. Kaii, meanwhile, just got upgraded from Jaidyn's boyfriend to the guy whose camp handled Blueface cleanly on the internet, and that's a permanent line on his resume. In this culture, careers have been built on less, and the Vincent account, whether it posts again or not, represents an infrastructure problem for X's platform enforcement that isn't going to fix itself. One more before we close. Some of you are going to say Porter's just having a rough patch, and this whole read is too heavy for what's basically a Twitter fit. I hear you. I'll say this. Rough patches don't compose for-payment platform ransom tweets at 3 a.m. Rough patches don't selectively delete. Rough patches don't line up with foreclosure timelines. What you're looking at tonight is a man who ran a play, watched it fail in real time, and reached for the delete button because he couldn't reach for the undo. And the internet doesn't have an undo. That's the whole reason we do what we do here. Foreclosure paperwork doesn't care about $100,000 tweets. It just keeps counting. Somebody in the comments already knows the exact filing date on that property. Drop it below if you've got it, because that's the piece that connects the whole night. If this is the kind of read that fits your feed, the receipts, the sequencing, the paper under the noise, you already know. Like the video, get subscribed, hit the bell, so you don't miss the follow-up when the next tweet drops or the Vincent account moves again. This case isn't closed. Wrap and receipt will be back on this one the second the next piece of paper surfaces. Rest well. We'll read the next one together.